It is a very exciting time in the wrestling world. It is now time to talk about the Royal Rumble, but it's going to be interesting because, as I said on the SSS podcast this week, it is going to be one that will have no live audience. And I am intrigued to see what they do. Will it be cinematic? Will it be like a normal match? We'll find out.
I didn't even think of that. Cinematic.
Yeah,
Royal
exactly.
Rumble? Oh, man.
That'd be interesting. But yeah, no. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Shoot Style Sauna as we are going to talk about a Royal Rumble 2021 predictions, as always, joined by the King of Shoot Style, Stel and Eric. But yeah, Eric, as I said, how are you feeling about what's going to be a very interesting pay-per-view?
Intrigued. Interested. Definitely. I don't know. Are they going to do the regular like Thunderdome kind of deal with like, people on their webcams and stuff? Or
what I want to see them do. Oh, sorry if I cut you off.
No, I couldn't. No, continue. I couldn't think of anything.
Man, so what I want to see, because they're in a baseball stadium, because the Tropicana feels like, expand like the Thunderdome like area, so you can still get the long walkway with like the cool shots of them walking down the ramp. That's what I want to see, because I think they have the space for it. Just haven't done it yet. That's like one of the hopes I had when they first went to a Tropicana field, but they haven't done it yet. So kind of like every other TV show. But I think for something like this, I don't see the reason why not to at least like expand your space a little bit and have a little bit more like of a big fight feel or like presentation of it is. Because every year in the Rumble, they had the baseball stadium in recent years. The Alamo Dome had the really long rampway. Last year, they had like that WrestleMania 19 style like curved rampway where they walk down and across. So I want to see what they do with this one. But nothing less on how it's going to look. Let's get into the card itself and go through our predictions. We'll go through match by match, tell what we think is going to happen, and there'll be lots of fun stuff in this one. Trust us. Kicking things off, a recently added match as of this past Monday on Raw. It is the women's tag team title match, as it is the Queens of Tomorrow. That's what I call them. Charlotte Flair and Asuka taking on the former champions, what I call them, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax. I'll go first. So my thinking with this one is that have we really seen these Charlotte and Asuka be together like that much, aside from like a match or two on SmackDown?
No, that's it.
Yeah.
No.
Not really. So, and like they're kind of both doing their own things right now. Charlotte's feuding with her dad again because, it's really interesting. Yeah. And then Asuka is kind of like feuding with Alexa Bliss / Fiend, kind of more so Alexa Bliss. So they're kind of doing their own things right now. And Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax, why they ever together? That kind of thing. So I think with that mentality in mind, I think I am going to go for Baszler and Jax. I just think that, I think this reign has not really done much for either side, unfortunately. It was cool like seeing Flair come back, happy to be there and stuff like that. But just since then, I just feel not much has happened. They're kind of just back to being single stars, just who had the tag belts, apparently. Eric, do you share that sentiment? Do you have any other thoughts?
No, I'm kind of along the same thought process. I don't think Asuka and Charlotte should have won the tag team titles in the first place, because there's really no reason. Because Nia and Shayna were actually doing a pretty good run. It
was surprising because you were like, "Oh, what's this?" when it first happened. And actually, you know what? Sure.
I'm cool with it. They were, throwing Lana through announce tables every week, which best running gag in WWE. I don't know why they're still not doing it.
She kind of disappeared.
Yeah. I think Ric Flair is gonna probably do some gross old man stuff and distract Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then Alexa Bliss might interfere and distract Asuka. So one of those is gonna happen, or something spooky's gonna happen. But
something
Nia,
weird, and then it'll lead to the heels winning.
Yeah, but Nia and Shayna, gonna win.
Yeah, it's just wondering what they're gonna go with the belts from here, considering like both these teams have kind of run through at least some of the tag teams in the division. But we also had the women's Dusty Classic happening over at NXT, which I think the winner should get a title shot. But we're still in the early stages of that tournament happening right now. We talk more about it on the podcast. Link to that in the description below and in the header. You can't see where I'm pointing, probably in the corner over here. But yeah, if you want to hear us talk more in depth about that, check out the podcast. But yeah, this match, I think it's straightforward. Something's going to happen. Heels win. We're both in agreement there. In one of the big matches, and they actually had one of the most intriguing builds on this card. It is the Universal title match, which is contested in a last man standing match. It is the Tribal Chief himself, the champion, Roman Reigns, taking on everybody's favorite, Kevin Owens. So this was originally going to be Adam Pearce after that gauntlet match, but Pearce, it was kind of all a ruse. He made an injury and he filled it in with Kevin Owens, and now here we are. Pretty fun build. I actually low-key kind of wanted to be Adam Pearce to see what it would have been, but I'm okay with it. I'm fine with this. This still will be fun. But Eric, you want to start things off and what you think will go down?
Yeah, I do. I think it's gonna be a hell of a match. I think this is where they're gonna really explore the space in the arena. Tropicana Field, because we saw on SmackDown when Reigns threw Owens off the Thunderdome stage people and through the tables. So I do think they're gonna kind of leave the area and kind of explore the Tropicana field a little bit. But I do think that Roman Reigns is gonna remain the head of the table. As much as I love Kevin Owens, I love this Roman Reigns and what he's doing right now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in agreement there. I'm also going to go for Roman Reigns. Yeah, I do feel bad because, I think we had the same deal when we talked about Ciampa last year against Cole. It's I feel bad because I know you're such a huge Kevin Owens fan, probably the biggest one of the entire team when we look at it. But it's it's hard to debate he should win right now, considering the Royal Rumble doesn't really have a big title change happening year by year. It's usually on the pay-per-views after that, if anything, as we've seen in past years. But yeah, I think here pretty safe bet. I'm hoping it's kind of like last year of Reigns' match against Goldberg, kind of go around the entire area, like you said. You see other shots you never really see on TV, some cool spots that they might do from each other, and they just beat the shit out of each other. So that's what they did at TLC. They did it on SmackDown numerous times. It'll just be a really fun car crash type match. But yeah, I think it's a really easy one to predict, and I'm going for Roman Reigns as well. Excited though. Could be a match of the night.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. One that I am terrified for, quite frankly. It is the WWE Championship Match that is unfortunately has been kind of hurt by the factor that Drew got sick during the bill of COVID-19. Fortunately, he's okay now. And as we've seen, this has been a match that nobody's looking forward to. And it just shows at the state that kind of what some of the main event scene is like across, mostly in Raw, but how they've been doing things. Came across on Legends Night when Goldberg came back, and then that's really all we've had so far. I'm gonna go first. I think Drew's gonna win this. I'm still scared, even though I feel pretty good about it, because I just don't think that all the stock they put into Drew should just go down the drain in 4 minutes in this match. We've seen Drew only get pinned once or twice by Randy Orton, but since then, he's looked strong throughout the past 11 to 12 months. I think having him lose here would be a terrible decision, and I don't know what that does for him for WrestleMania, even if it does mean some kind of boost, but how short term is that compared to the long term of building a new star only to have this happen to him at the show where he kind of made himself last year too, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go for Drew on this one, somewhat safely. Eric, what about you?
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm gonna go with Drew, but we also need to remember that we have The Miz kind of looming in the background too with that Money in the Bank briefcase.
For predictions reference on the team, Sam, who's not here, has picked Goldberg followed by a Miz cash-in. And I told him if he got that right, he's getting 2 points.
Absolutely.
So,
but are they really going to have The Miz pin Goldberg out of anybody? The Miz?
Yeah, I mean, maybe something has to happen after the match. Goldberg has to get beaten down or something else would happen because, you don't think he would just take a skull crusher finale and that be it. I wouldn't think that was someone like him. No. Same with Drew. It would have to be a mid-match thing, kind of like what Seth Rollins did at Mania, or what Miz tried to do at TLC, and that didn't work either because that didn't count because, technicality, John Morrison gave him the briefcase, but I think that's kind of weird, but still. The Miz is still a looming threat. He's promised to do it. Matter of will he, won't he? Yet to see, but I just think taking the belt off Drew is just not a wise decision right now.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna leave
it. I think what Drew should do, he should adopt a green mist and call it the COVID mist.
Oh man, I mean, we've seen the mist from Asuka a handful of times since the pandemic started. So hey, wouldn't be bad. We also blind Goldberg because he doesn't know where he's going. Maybe he won't headbutt a locker once he's blinded.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, but nothing else to say with that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just praying that Drew wins for the love
Hopefully
of
it's
Christ.
a 5-minute squash match. That's what I'm hoping.
Please.
Claymore, and that's it.
Please.
But now, this is where things get really interesting as, we don't have everybody here, but we still know who's going to be even in the match. There's only 12 people announced right now. It is the Women's Royal Rumble match. 30 women, only one winner. Winner will get a title match of their choosing, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, at WrestleMania. Eric, you want to go first?
Sure. So for this, do you want me to announce the winner first, or do a final four and then the winner?
The way we're doing this is that we want to have things be pretty competitive and more fun with our predictions. We have a bunch of smaller ones that we're not going to do on here because we still have to think about them. But our big ones that we want to do this year are our winner and our final four. So I guess what we'll do our final four first, and then out of those four, we'll name our winner. So Eric, if you want to take the floor, you have it.
Yes. So my final four, I believe, is going to be Bayley, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and I have to think of someone from Raw. Should I? No.
I got mine. I'll save that for mine.
Lacey Evans.
Okay, makes sense considering what she's doing. So yeah, and then your winner out of those.
And my winner out of those four, I do believe it's going to be Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, is going to win the 2021 Women's Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid pick. You know, she has been getting like the slow burn like treatment on SmackDown. She has these cool vignettes showing how much she's capable of, blah blah blah. She's in a pretty interesting mid-card feud with Bayley, kind of to help elevate her and show how Bayley's really good too. But we also have this person who's maybe the future, that sort of thing. They're having like a cool like Matt Hardy MVP feud, and that could continue here. And maybe how it ends is like how Bianca will throw Bayley out to win. Just a nice way to cap off that feud.
And so, I'm really hoping I'm really hoping that WWE is going to take an opportunity and use this Royal Rumble pay-per-view to make new stars.
Yes. Like the last time we really saw it with, I guess like for the women, it was 2 years ago when Becky had her main event push. Year before that was Asuka, but then they dropped the ball with that, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And it still kind of like lingers in my mind sometimes. And then last year, you know, as we saw last year, well, that didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately. Nope. But still, maybe they'll redeem it and be more like the first 2 years of the Rumble. But we'll see what they're on my end. My final four, let's go into, I haven't written down somewhere. My final four for the Women's Rumble is going to be, I believe I had Bayley, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler from Raw on the Raw side, and I'm not really surprised, but Rhea Ripley is also in my final four because we haven't seen Rhea since she lost to Raquel Gonzalez in NXT. At the time of recording, NXT has not aired this week yet, so I could be totally wrong come tonight. But still, I think she's been a little bit quiet lately. I think giving her either at least a really good showing in the Rumble to showing, okay, she's back. Now we're going to move her to whichever brand, because I think she's done everything she can do. She went out in a pretty good way on NXT a couple weeks ago on New Year's Evil. And in my heart, I don't want her to win. I'm wearing a Rhea Ripley t-shirt after all, but I do think more logically, out of those four, I will also be in agreement and go for Bianca Belair because I think it's more logical. We've seen more of her on like the main roster shows. You know, she's been on SmackDown for a couple months now. Rhea's still over in NXT technically at time of recording. So I think giving her the win and paving the way for WrestleMania for her for a big match with Sasha, I'd imagine. And yeah, I think it's a good way to cap off that. Also, maybe they can include Bayley in some way after this is over, depending on how they book it. But still, I think capping off Bianca's recent work with Bayley with a big win at the Royal Rumble is going to continue her slow and steady push.
Absolutely. And if they're going to have Rhea go to like probably Raw, I would assume, then
yeah, they need her more.
I think they would have her win maybe a Women's Elimination Chamber match in February.
And face whoever the champion is come that time, because we don't know what it'll be like. The Raw scene has been kind of like in and out of different people coming here and there, but I'm sure it'll make more sense like a month or two from now.
Yeah.
It is the Men's Royal Rumble. Yes, just recently Edge did declare on Monday Night on Raw that he will be in the match, one of the big ones that they've announced. And weirdly enough, we're having the situation happen on Saturday night where in WWE Backstage they're going to announce the number 30 entrant in the Men's Royal Rumble match and the first two in the Women's match. The Women's match is not that bad considering it's the first two. But, you know, that's usually like cool to see like who gets first two and then who's going to kind of carry the match. But the men's one, it kind of like takes away the shock of whoever it's going to be. So I'm like a bit on that. But hopefully it's like, hopefully it's worth it. But still, let's not dwell on that. The Men's Rumble, since Eric led off the women's, I'll lead off with this one. My final four that I have written down for the Men's Rumble, you scroll up on my document here, is... almost the wrong name. Daniel Bryan, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, and Keith Lee will be my final four in this match. Weirdly enough, Keith Lee is not announced for this match, and I figured he would have been by now, but I'm sure they have plenty of spots, and I'm sure he'll be in the match in some way. And my winner out of those four is going to be Daniel Bryan. I think, considering, you know, he announced for the Rumble all the way back in December. It's his first time in the Rumble match, since 2015, hasn't it been?
Besides the greatest Royal Rumble.
We don't count that. That never happened. That title has not been brought up since then. Didn't happen. It was all an illusion, guys. You know, Tyus and H on the way down. Let's forget about that. Just someone put the Men in Black gif up, and we'll just all forget about it from there. But yeah, I think Bryan. You know, he's lost a little bit since that announcement. You know, he's lost to Cesaro recently, but I think that's kind of goes in like how well they've kind of built the Men's Rumble this year. I think, you know, it will be weird considering the presentation of it because there's no fans, but still the kayfabe behind it. You know, I feel like anybody can win. And we talked about it on the podcast. We're going, maybe Daniel Bryan will win. Maybe Nakamura will win because his recent momentum, his face turn. Cesaro, because he beat Daniel Bryan. He's been looking really good on SmackDown lately. Keith Lee, because, you know, he's someone who I think can go a really long way and help redeem, you know, his really intriguing run on Raw so far. You know, it's kind of picking up here and there. So, but I think pretty safely that Brian will be able to take this home. As I mentioned too, Damian Priest was in my Final Four. I do think this will be the moment where we'll see him kind of coming in a big way, get a good showing up, but I don't think he'll win. Just a really nice showing for him, introduce him to the main roster audience, that sort of thing. But hey, I think it'll be a fun match. And Eric, where does that leave you?
It leaves me with, I'll start with my Final Four. I think it's going to be Keith Lee, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jey Uso, and fourth. Someone else around, and possibly AJ Styles.
Okay.
I think Daniel Bryan, since I was thinking he was going to win the Rumble, but then, his contract's coming up in August. He's really trying to put people, create new stars, put people over. He had those couple, these recent losses. So it's just like, I think he's going to be like the fifth, final five.
Oh, he's the final five. He gets thrown out by somebody.
Yeah, something like that. And recently on SmackDown, Jey Uso said he's thinking about maybe, winning the Rumble and then going to Raw, winning that title, so they get all the gold in the bloodline, the family, whatever. But yeah, I think that's gonna be my Final Four. Keith Lee's definitely gonna be a tough guy to get out. I'm not sure how they're gonna eliminate him.
I think he's gonna be like the dominant powerhouse. I said this on the podcast. So he'll be like the one who kind of controls a lot of the match when he comes in. Like he'll be like kind of like the Iron, or like one of the big guys that can't find a way to get eliminated, but he like rasps up a lot of eliminations. That's what I see him being.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, I'm with that Final Four, because those are kind of like smaller guys that I kind of picked. I don't know how they're going to eliminate him, but I do not think Keith Lee's going to win. My pick for this Royal Rumble, I do believe, is going to be Shinsuke Nakamura.
He's a two-time winner.
Win his second Royal Rumble, and then go on to WrestleMania, face Roman Reigns in a hell of a match. I don't know if he's going to win or not quite yet. WWE did admit that they did drop the ball with Shinsuke back in 2018. So I think they're going to pick up the scraps, and with this Rumble, create a new star in Shinsuke.
At the second attempt, and what will be hopefully the right way to do it this time.
Absolutely.
Even though having no crowds today, I'm sure they could still make it work. I think for his presentation and everything like that, his aura that he had all that time ago when he first came in the 2018 run.
And with there being no crowd, if they're going to pipe in the crowd noises again, they can control how the crowd reacts. So Shinsuke wins, big pop. People are going to think
pyro.
I bet you they're thinking like, oh, he's the guy now or something.
Or like something like really nice. It'll be nice to see like him get back into that spot. Like, we've said for like the past year and a half, he just hasn't been really doing anything, unfortunately. Yeah. But now I think in this new role where I feel like, oh, cool, he's actually like doing stuff again. He's got some good wins under his belt. He's had some good showings. Maybe they're gonna give him another chance. So we'll see. But I do think no matter what in either of our ends, I think he will make it pretty far. Final Four at the very least is my pick, but we'll see what happens with that. And that will conclude our predictions for the 2021 Royal Rumble. If you like this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and enable notifications for everyone by hitting that bell next to our name. Also, be sure to look out for our New Japan, New Beginning in Nagoya and Hiroshima predictions, which will also be up around the same time as this, covering both those shows in coming weeks, and also the SSS podcast, where we talk more in depth about the Royal Rumble and our initial thoughts on what's going to happen. Anything else, be sure to watch out for our Royal Rumble review coming out in the coming weeks after the show airs. And Eric, anything else that you want to add?
Go like us on Facebook and Instagram at the Shoot Style Sauna.
Yep, of course. Be sure to do that as well if you like what you're seeing here and want to see some other coverage from us elsewhere. So, until next time, I am Stel from the Shoot Style Sauna, joined by Eric. Thank you all for watching, and see you all very, very soon. Thank you, everybody.